Meet the dynamic CEO of the Mandela Rhodes Foundation, an alumnus of the program herself, bringing a shimmer and sparkle as they seek to broaden awareness and generate greater support in their efforts to empower Africa's future brains trust.
The Mandela Rhodes Foundation turning 20 years at the same time as the 10-year anniversary of Madiba's passing, I think is an apt moment to reflect globally on the values that Mandela represented. How do we think about building bridges across society, particularly in this very divided world? And I think the message is that on the African continent, we have a young group of bright scholars, leaders who are in their different fields really trying to take on the mantle to say, how do we radically transform our societies and actually have the courage to make the tough decisions that I think are important to really shift the inequality, the injustice and the poverty that we see in our continent.
New York City!
At the core of the Foundation's program, principles of reconciliation, education, entrepreneurship and leadership, key pegs in a region seeking to boost development and good governance and reposition itself on the global stage.
Why have you chosen New York as the venue to mark this 20th anniversary?
There was something there about how does Africa work together more collectively, but also how do we think about ourselves in the global context. So we wanted to celebrate those who had helped us along the way in the US, and also to obviously build new relationships with people who are connected to Africa and want to contribute. We're also going to be celebrating in Oxford, and then the final grand finale will happen in Cape Town in July.
With a brief to produce future leaders in Africa.
One of the amazing achievements is that many of the 620 cohorts, or rather who were selected in the past, have gone on to start businesses, occupying senior positions across the continent and coming from 33 different countries. It's an opportunity for us who expose them to a very challenging and rigorous development leadership experience. They come out into the world as confident and highly compassionate people who will provide ethical leadership wherever they'll be.
From the class of 2006, this alumnus is now a leadership and transformation specialist based in Zimbabwe.
With the learning of Madiba's journey, there's no way you could abandon the continent. I think wherever many scholars travel, they always carry the continent with them in their heart. And I always knew that I was going to go back to my own country specifically, because I had lived abroad for many years, to go back to my own country and walk my own courageous journey in terms of my gifts and my talents and giving back in a way that was meaningful. And it was never going to be any other way. The values of the scholarship compel you to make those kinds of choices that are pro the continent.
Of the $20 million goal, the Foundation has already received $11 million in pledges to date.
It's always important to remember that Madiba was keen that the Mandela Rhodes Foundation has an African impact beyond South Africa, and that they will provide the necessary leadership, we hope, to place Africa and people across from a pan-African perspective that includes people in the African diaspora, to become part and parcel of that project of rebuilding our continent.
A book commemorating the anniversary will be released in July. Sherwin Bryceby's SABC News, New York.